Welcome into the Chasing Trails podcast, brought to you by St. John Trail Running and powered by Resilience Through Fitness. Join two middle-aged dads as they sit down and talk trail running, life, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Jeff LeBlanc and Brandon Thompson. All right, everyone, welcome into the Chasing Trails studios. It's Jeff and Brandon. I feel like Jeff's here in body, may not be here in mind quite totally. We'll get to his life situation in just a second, but here we are, just kind of wrapping up our year. It's hard to believe this is the last episode for season 3, but here we are, Jeff. We're at the end of the rainbow.
It's crazy. Even just to hear you say season 3. How many episodes have we done in full now?
Oh, so I think we're into the 30s for this season alone.
Right.
So we've got to be over 100 episodes, I would say.
Well, like season 1, we started a little late, but we've done some special episodes. You're right. You know, you think for a wrap up we would have counted before we came on here.
Oh yeah, no. That's just par for the course with the show. I have no idea what episode we're on. We should have a counter or something, but
yeah. Well, since a couple have been deleted due to a copyright infringement on a song, I guess some of them are missing anyway.
Well, good news. We got that back. So they're back on now. So we won. I challenged it. I challenged it. I was like, we're not, this is like a royalty-free website where you can get music. I was like, this is where we got it from. And they were like, yeah, okay, that's right. So here you go. They're back on now.
No way. Good for you. Fight the power, Brandon. Fight the power.
give a big middle finger to the man. That's right.
The man.
Yeah.
That makes me so proud of you. You're just such a pushover.
Yeah, I don't usually care, but this one I was like, yeah, all right, go for it. You don't mess around with our theme song.
That's right.
Anyway, so we got that. Battle won just in time for the season to end. Hooray! But it's been a couple weeks since we ran. So how are you feeling? All things considered, new baby and all.
All things considered, my advice for you all is that having babies is a young man's game. You should make every effort to do that earlier in life than 43. But if you haven't done it yet, and you still want to, it's doable. It's just not easy. It's just
right.
And I don't know that it ever was. Like we think back and you forget about how hard not sleeping is, and that's really the only problem. Like, Hazel's been a pretty good baby. She's pretty chill for the most part, except that sometimes she just, like last night, she just decided, if you put me down, I'm going to wake up. And like Heidi needed to sleep. She had been up the night before and then didn't get a nap because people stopped in to see the baby. So the first couple of weeks are tough because people stop in to say hi, and then you might miss a nap or you miss a little bit of downtime, and then you're up all day. And so she was exhausted. So sent her to bed at like 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something like that. And then I held the baby till 1:30, I think, so that she would sleep. And then I crawled into bed, and of course it never fails. You're going to have one of your other kids up when you stay up late, right? So
they never cooperate.
At 3:30 and bad dream, and she went back to bed fairly good, and then the other one was up for the day at 5:45. She was like, Dad, come get some coffee with me. Okay. So out I went for my coffee. So today's been a fine day. It was busy at work, but at the same time it was sleepy. But I didn't run this morning, and I was supposed to because I was too tired. So that's going to be the issue over the next couple months, is the how many of those runs am I going to miss?
planned runs blown up by sleepless nights. That's a rough one.
Yeah. So, but I'm feeling good. Bootstrap was great. We did our review on that, and I've got, I don't know, a couple runs a week or 3 runs a week almost in this week, and managed to get on the treadmill a few times, and it feels okay. And my Achilles is pretty inflamed and flared up most days, but I'm seeing a new physiotherapist, saw him today, and I have great new hopes. He's
all right.
He seems like a good dude, and did a lot of work with my calves and my tight posterior chain, as he called it. I'm not even sure I know what that is. But
sounds like a dirty word,
right? Yeah. And apparently I'm really tight. Like he could only get my legs to a 45-degree angle, lifting them off the table without like stuff really stretching. So apparently that's bad. You're supposed to be able to go up to like 90 degrees. So I'm way too tight. So anyway, we're gonna put a plan together. We're already talking about the Rockwood 50K and how I want to try to run that in good time this year in the spring, and he thinks that's doable. So we got a plan together. We got some workouts done, put together. Just got an email from him, and we're gonna start training for Rockwood. Starts today, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's a pretty impressive thing that you can do that while you're sleep deprived and everything else like that. If really is if you don't have an excuse, like it makes the rest of us who don't have a great excuse feel a little bit bad. So we'll have to pull it up. But
we'll see. I didn't run today, so you get a day off, Brandon. If you didn't run today, you could feel okay about it because I didn't.
You know what I was doing? I was putting tires on vehicles because it's wintertime now. Like it's actually it's getting cold. Snow's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had a wood stove, I would be sitting by the wood stove today. Oh my goodness. So it's that time of year now where we got to start thinking about winter running, getting the spikes out. I mean, a lot of us are treadmill people. That's fine. But winter running does have its benefits. So
you're ahead of me. I don't have a single winter tire on any of my vehicles yet. I have them all. I just don't have them on. And,
my blowing a tire expedited this for me because I was driving on my donut. I had to drive on my donut to Bootstrap. Yeah,
I told you not many days and keep it slow.
It was I didn't realize how slow you had to go because I was driving on the highway, and you're not supposed to go above 80 on those things. Mm-hmm. And I was doing like 110, 115, and the car really started to shake a little bit, like it was really pulling. And I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on. And then it was after I talked to you, I was like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have driven on the highway to get there. So anyway, but that's life. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about tires.
We are not
We're
mechanic.
Here to kind of just spend a few minutes just reflecting on the year that was, the racing year that was, and maybe just kind of share a few of our takeaways for that. It has been a great year. I think we can say that generally from the top to the bottom. It's been a great year. And we're going to spend a few minutes just reflecting on some questions, because one of the things that we've been learning, and Jeff doesn't like to say this word, but one of the things we've been learning about is how you can journal after your races and just do some reflecting around what went right, what went wrong, how your nutrition worked, like detailing how your race played out, and then like adjusting and playing around with that, because it gives you something that's really fresh that you can work off of. Right. So that's kind of what we're doing.
I don't like the word journaling, folks. I just feel like there needs to be a tougher word for it. It seems like something a 16-year-old girl does. So
with the little cutouts from like Teen People or 17 magazine or whatever.
Yeah, you hide your little diary in your top shelf on your nightstand, and your brother finds it and you yell at him because you were talking about your high school crush or whatever. Like, that's just the feeling that it gives me. So if someone out there can give us a stronger, more masculine word for what Brandon's suggesting we do after our workouts, that would be great.
Debrief may be the right word. I don't know. Debrief sounds pretty.
What do you use in the sports coaching world when you I guess it's probably debrief when you have okay.
Autopsy. We could do an autopsy.
An autopsy. That's good.
Postmortem. We could do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I can get behind a postmortem. Usually we're dead by the end of it, so it's probably good.
So that's what we're going to do for today. And as we wrap up our episode, I think we might do a Christmas episode. I mean, that's always fun. It's Jeff's favorite time of the year, so he's going to be all on board for it.
Christmas decorations are up. They're into the smart outlet. They turn on every day as soon as dusk hits.
Oh my!
I went and bought some new decorations this year, some extra lights. Thinking about getting a few more. I had them done before Remembrance Day, but I didn't turn them on. I left them off.
Attaboy.
So I was trying to be respectful. Everyone was giving me a hard time for doing them. My dad showed up that day, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Listen, it's going to rain on Remembrance Day," and I put them up. usually right after the Remembrance Day service. So
Yeah, that's
I
right.
did it early. I did it early this year, but my wife made me keep them off. But we do have our Christmas tree up, as I mentioned, and now all the Christmas decorations outside are up. Just waiting for my wife to stop nursing a baby 24/7 and decorate the inside of the house. My work's done. Yeah.
Well, that takes some time, so
It does.
I'm glad that you're holding off on that part at least.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, just broke out my Christmas music, so that's kind of where I'm at in that stage. But to each their own. I'm not going to.
You like to put up your Christmas decorations when your hands are frozen and it's gross outside, eh?
Yeah, basically December. December is when I put up my Christmas decorations. That's when you put up Christmas decorations. Is that Christmas?
Not
time.
when you'd like to do it in the 7-degree weather when your hands are cold. It was like 13 degrees when I did mine. It was great.
Do you know, if I just left them up all year round, I wouldn't have to worry about it at all.
That's true. Hampton's basically one big trailer park anyway. So no,
I mean, well, that's not going to fly very well with our Hampton listeners. All 2 of them or 3
I'm
going
to say sorry to the 2 listeners in Hampton.
Yeah, that's right.
Jackson and Laura.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay. So, Jeff, let's start off with an easy one. Okay. What's one of the trail races this year that really stood out to you? What's like one of the ones that was your favorite? Like what would you say?
Yeah, I think my favorite trail race was definitely Looney Loops. It's just such a good run, such a good race, good vibes, great location. You just can't. It's hard to beat. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Great aid station because it's all centralized. They can do so many good things there. There's a barbecue. You know that even if you're slow like me, you still make it back before all the burgers are out because they're doing it through the day. You have to run past the barbecue anyway, and you know. So yeah, I just think it's a great race.
Yeah. I'm not going to say the same one as you, but even just having the steel band this year was awesome. Like I loved listening to that when I was running through.
Yeah.
Wish I could have just stayed around and watched more, but it was good. I think I'm going to say the East Coast Beast Coast was probably my favorite run just because I got to do it with Catherine. And I think that was special for me. Definitely not my fastest race or anything like that, but it was one of those ones that I really will remember. Just even the weather and just the chance to do that together. I think that's probably the highlight for me. And even though it's at Rockwood Park, which is my least favorite course, I think it's probably it's still a highlight for me. So just doing that and having your girls there too was just like a really cool experience, having the whole family around. So
yeah. That was fun, man. That was a good time. Now that I think about it, I guess, yeah, that's a good one. Good close second for me for sure. And you guys gonna plan to do that next year, probably?
Yeah, probably. I got to get Catherine back on the train here. She has been running on her own, so that's been kind of nice. But I think she's in full horseback riding mode right now. So we'll see how we'll get her back into it.
Yep.
What's a moment on the trails that you wish you could relive? So if you could go back and go through it again, what do you wish you could do again?
Jeez, definitely not Skywalker. I wish I didn't have to do that ever again. It's not a moment of reliving. It's a moment of death.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there's what would I want to relive. What did you have for this? What did you?
I think for me, I've got 2 that come to my mind right away. One was I love jumping down that gravel pit hill every time we do the bootstrap boogie. Sure. That is my favorite part of any race.
Yeah,
like I feel like I'm fast. I just feel it is so fun, and I just love doing that part. So I would relive that because every time I do it, it's just fantastic. And the second one I think I would relive was just, I think, having fun at the base of Poley Mountain and watching everyone else run up Poley Mountain.
I was just thinking about that.
I think that was so fun.
I would have used it as my favorite race, but it wasn't the race that was my favorite. It was literally watching other people suffer from the patio with a beer in my hand.
Yeah. The weather was so good.
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving weekend. Like, it was just great vibes.
I went home
I
with
th-
$100 worth of sourdough bread.
right? I
So
mean,
good.
what could go better? I
Yeah.
just think that was I met a couple new people. I thought it was
Mhm.
great. So I would I'd relive that one again. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a highlight. Just even like the whole trail series this year. Let's just talk about
Mhm.
that for a second.
It's true.
Because that was like a game changer for me because we haven't done nearly as many of those races in the past. And so
Yeah.
because of the trail series though, we signed up for all of them. We were in all of them for the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
And because of that, we were right in the thick
Mhm.
of the standings for the trail series, which I think is just that's awesome. I love the way that it worked out because like we weren't in the bottom, we weren't at the top, obviously, but we weren't at the bottom. I mean, we were
No, if
right
we had
smack dab
gotten
in the middle,
if we had got the bonus for all 5 and gotten points for Rockwood, we would have been close to the top.
right?
I did the math. If all things stayed the same, like we would have been almost like right in the top 10 if we had gotten points for Rockwood. So
Man,
there's goals for next year. Of course, next year it'll be twice as hard because people will be like, "Hey, this is a cool thing," and more
yeah,
people will hear about it, and it'll be harder to get the bonus points. But
right.
yeah,
So
it's
I
cool.
loved that part of it. I
Mhm.
also though, and I don't know if there's like a space here for regrets. Maybe we'll get to that in a minute. But I also regretted not like we had gotten out to a lot of the Nova Scotia races too last year, and
Mhm.
I missed that this year. There were reasons why we couldn't go. Like it was just we practically got like wrecked our families last year because we were going on wild trips to Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
like taking long periods away, and
Yeah.
so it was tough. But like just I would love to have gotten to one of those races. Like like all of like the 3 different trail organizers there run great races. There's no
Mhm.
bad ones,
You
and
know what we need to
so
do? What we need to do next year is make our short races travel races, so we could just do like a down and back on a Friday night, like we did with the Macintosh 10. No, it wasn't the Macintosh. It was
it
the
was the Crystal Crescent.
Crystal Crescent 10K. Like just a down and back, grab a couple Red Bulls, drive home late at night, and still participate in some of those runs, but not make it so that we're gone for the whole weekend. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's the way we're probably
yeah,
with bigger families and lots of commitments.
yeah,
That's the way we're gonna do it. And I missed I didn't do the Hamel hammering. I didn't do any of Yoss's races.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
And I've done those in the past. It just depends on which races land on which weekends that work, right?
yeah,
And so I know for me, like going to the St. John races actually is easier too in a lot of ways because I can ship my family off to my mother-in-law's and she's always very
yeah,
helpful. So it helps make me feel like Heidi's not just on her own with 6
yeah.
children.
That's
Like
right.
she's got her mom there to help her, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
if I have a race down in St. John, it's an easy like, well, don't you want to go see your mom this weekend? Like,
Right.
it's just,
Exactly.
so that helps me a lot. And that's one of the reasons I go to St. I'm sure lots of people are like, why does Jeff always go to St. John to run instead of running, races in his backyard in Fredericton? Well, a lot of times that's because it's easy to make an excuse to go down and visit family down there and do a run and have a
Yeah.
barbecue and whatever, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, for
but you're
sure.
right. That would be that was the trail series was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of hoping there's like a end of the season bash kind of deal where they hand out the trophy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what Mark's got planned for that, but hopefully we'll be able to hear about something
We did
and
post it on Facebook. They're going to do one in January.
oh, did they? Oh, I
Yeah.
missed it.
They wanted to get through
Fantastic.
the Christmas craze, and then sometime in January or February, I think they're thinking of doing like a banquet dinner style thing. That's what it kind of sounded like
Yeah.
with an awards ceremony. So that'd be cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm for that. That'll be fun.
yeah. We'll take our wives for a date. I'll have to bring the baby, but
Yeah,
no,
that's all right.
yeah, we'll
That's
show
all right.
her off.
Yeah, that's everyone will see her. Okay, so that's been kind of like some of the highlights, a couple of the things that we wish we could do. I wish we could clone ourselves and go to all the races, but we can't. And we'll try and diversify for next year. But I think it's just hearing about the success of some of the races all around the Maritimes are fantastic. Even
Mhm.
like what's going on in Newfoundland, like listening to the guys with the East Coast Trail, like it just sounds awesome what they're doing out there. It really seems like it's being revived in a lot of ways. The trail community is stronger than ever, I think, this year. But let's kind of delve into some of the, let's call them DNF moments. Okay. So moments where we were struggling, moments where it felt like this was hard. What were some of what can you name one of those, Jeff, for you? And what did you learn from that? What were some of the things that really kind of stood out to you from some of those when you hit the struggle bus?
Yeah, it's funny because like technically I DNF'd Rockwood, but
Yeah.
it didn't feel like a DNF for me because I finished. I didn't get a
Yeah.
score or time, but there were still people around and people waited around for me, and it made it still feel like an active finish line because it was for me. Like the goal was just
Sure.
last year was honestly just to go out and finish, and the goal was to get back before the cutoff of the first lap so that I had the opportunity to run a second lap, which I did. I didn't make both cutoffs.
That's all right, man. You're out
That's
there.
the point, right? Exactly. Like I said, I'm not giving myself a hard time. It was, it didn't feel like a DNF at all. So I don't feel like that's the right one to use. Although it did teach me, that finishing what you started is equally as important as finishing on some arbitrary time. In a
Yeah.
lot of ways for your self confidence and just for the sake of doing it. So, I think that's one thing that I learned, and Looney Loops too. Like, not everything goes as planned, and sometimes you just don't feel good. And it is what it
Right.
is. You can try to push through it, or you can do what I did and give up. But it's, it just sometimes things just don't work out, and just no reason to feel bad about it. It is what it is. This is not a moment of like real regret, right? And so, I think those are the kind of some of the two things that I learned. And I think over the season, like if I look at the hard moments of like DNF or injury or whatever, I think one of the things I'm starting to learn better is that it's okay to, seek advice and then try to follow it well. And I'm not often very good at that. And so either from a physiotherapist or like, it's okay to get a second opinion. If you are working through something that's not working and you get advice and it doesn't work, like don't just give up on it and be like, oh, well, I'll just run through the pain or I'll, whatever, just get a second opinion and maybe it'll be a different option and it'll work better.
Yeah.
And so, that's fresh in my mind because I did that today and it worked a lot better, or it seems like it's going to work a lot better. And so, I think that those are two things that I could say I learned this year that, that it probably will benefit me, hopefully going into next year. So,
Yeah. Well, those are good ones. I think even to just like Rockwood is the one that obviously comes to my mind, just because it just goes to show like sometimes you can do all the prep in the world for something and then something will come out of left field and you can't control those things, like you were saying with Looney Loops. But here's what my big takeaway, and I think this is one for my whole racing, like for racing for this year, was that for Rockwood, I had put so much pressure on myself. Like I had really, really wanted this. It was frustrating. It was disappointing. And I felt like I was letting people down. I felt like I was, I think it was just me. I probably wouldn't have been as upset with myself. But the fact that there was people who had kind of stepped up to help and be there and give advice and all that sort of stuff, and to not do what I wanted to do, I felt like that was letting everyone down. So it took me most of the racing season just to kind of unpack all that. And I think for myself, it led me to a place where I didn't take some of those things quite so seriously anymore. And I'm not saying I didn't have goals. Like I did have goals for Looney Loops, but it meant that I didn't like put so much weight on those things. If I didn't get it, I didn't get it. And I think that was lived out with Poly Peaks, where we just did the 5K instead of the 13. It was like that in Bootstrap, where I just did the 9 instead of the 17. And I loved it. Like I loved it. It was just so great. Does that mean I won't ever do those distances again? No, but it does. Like I was just ecstatic that there was just way less pressure and I felt way better about it. So I just think like at the stage where I'm at, I'm just like, okay, just stop putting so much on yourself and just enjoy it a little bit. I needed that at the end of the year.
Yeah. The end of the year with a 5K and an 9K was exceptional.
Awesome. It was
So
so
good.
awesome.
So good. We won't beat a dead horse about Bootstrap, but it was the right decision, and I agree. Like those were two of the greatest races because they were easy and fun and laid back, and just got to go and enjoy the community and
Yeah.
run. Now, I am tempted to try and do the full Poli next year just because I want to. Just I don't know why, but I feel like I should, right? But I need to not do it. Someone to
Right.
pull me back, So remind
Right.
me next year when we're talking about Poli that I don't need to do the 13. I can
Right.
just do the 5. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Um, I also just thought too, um, a lot like when I was getting ready for Rockwood, it was like we got into running, well, at least I did anyway, because it was good for my head, like it helped with my stress, and it was supposed to help with my weight and my body, right? It wasn't doing any of those things by the time we were in the middle of it. Like I was stressed out about running, and like my body was constantly getting hurt, and it was just breaking down. And so so I was like, okay. Natalie finally said, like, Brandon, you're doing some of this is dumb. Like you need to just get back to what you wanted to do originally. And so we had those, lo and behold, my wife was right. When we got to those like lower races, I was like, man, I love this. I'm just like so carefree. You sign up, like you're ready to go. Like you just show up and you're ready to run. So it just needed to reframe the whole thing for me. And that was super helpful as we got towards the end. And that doesn't mean I don't want to do big things again, but it was just at this time, at this place, it's what was needed. So I think that's my big key takeaway. People can dissect that for what they want, like take it for what it's worth. But
Right.
it's kind of where we're at. What about inspirations? Did you have any inspirations this year? I mean, we had people doing big stuff, big amazing stuff. Did you
Yeah.
did you take away any inspiration from some of those things?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I think you always find people who just do cool things and inspire you, but I think earlier in the year I reposted a note from Jess Vickrick when she did her QMT 80 about how she felt like, you know, she shouldn't be running or whatever, and she was big, and then realized how strong she was and how good she did. And just that post, if you didn't see it, like go back and look, maybe I'll repost it. But what she said in the post was just such a thing that lo tons of people just need to hear. Like, you're not
Yeah.
always gonna look like a runner, so to speak, like a Kenyan or,
Yeah,
like
right.
whatever, right? But you can still be proud and proud of the strength that you have in your body and what you can do. And so I found that post from Jess right at the first of the year was like, wow, like that was something great that everyone should hear. And so I did ask her before I reposted it, but yeah, she's super strong and she runs so well. And so
Yeah.
good on her. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like there was definitely inspiring moments. Like, uh, we saw people run like canyons. We saw people running in like Tim did Nice and Brian Demings did Nice, and you had like obviously people doing UTMB and just all these huge races. And I think those were all really inspiring, and I'm just so impressed with all their abilities. But do you know what really inspired me was the people. Do you remember at the beginning of each race, Mark would say, "Hey, there's like 100 people or whatever who are doing this for the first time."
Yeah.
I think for me, like that was inspiring. Like I'm always get like a little bit of goosebumps when I hear people who are doing trail racing for the first time and their first race. And I just remember like how awesome that was to run with people, who were just discovering it for the first time. And I thought that was really inspiring. And to be able to like at Poly Peaks, I ran with someone who was doing their first race with their son. Their son was like way ahead of them. I crossed the
Yeah.
finish line like minutes and minutes and minutes before him, and he was
Yeah.
trying to get there. And just to be able to run with him and talk, I thought that was just really inspiring to see a dad do that.
Yeah.
So kind of connected with him. So that
It was
was
funny. So you mentioned that guy's kid. I'm pretty sure he was running in front of me, and you could tell he was like not sure what was happening. Like his dad obviously was way behind. He kept stopping at like a lot of the corners, and he would just kind of like because he was all alone in the woods by himself. He was pretty young,
Yeah.
and I'd come around the corner and he'd kind of look at me like, "Keep going, dude. Just follow the trail. Stop." And he was like, "Well, I don't know where to go." I'm like, just there's only one trail. Follow the trail. So, and anyway, every now and again he would check in and he'd be like, "Where do we go?" I'm like, "Just keep going. There's flags up there, you know." So he could have run that race a fair bit quicker actually if he had a little more confidence in himself. But
Yeah.
I assume it was that guy's kid.
Yeah, probably. He's probably looking back for his dad, waiting for his dad.
Probably. Thinking I was, the big guy coming through the woods. And he'd see me come around the corner. He's probably like, "Oh, that's not my dad." Yeah. So,
wait a minute, you're not my dad.
Yeah. So anyway, that's funny that you ran.
Yeah. So I think for me that's probably one of the most inspiring things, and I'll continue to just be in awe of people who are doing hard stuff, like whether that's trying it to help beat their like mental health or try and do better that way, and people who are just trying to keep moving. You think of like Daryl Steves, who's been doing it for years and years and years and just continues to show up, and I'm inspired every time he crosses the finish line. It's just awesome to see. So that's all pretty cool. That's what makes the community so awesome. It's so diverse and so different. It's just
I'm always
crazy.
just trying to stay ahead of Daryl.
Yeah, man. That's what I said. I remember I said to you, I was like, "Oh man, this was a rough race because Daryl beat me in one of those races." And I was like, "Ooh, that's a tough one." So I had to eat that one pretty hard. So
which one was that? Was that Rockwood?
I think that was Foley Peaks because I'd stopped. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But good for him. I'm glad he beat me. I'm so thrilled that he did that. So
that's
just
awesome.
a good check on my ego. So I was glad that I need that every once in a while.
We all do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, what as we kind of like take a second just to kind of think about the future. So we've looked at the past. What are you thinking about the future? I mean, we've tossed around some ideas, but have you gotten any sense of what you want to do?
Anything we want to go public with?
I don't know. That's up to you. I don't know if I'm ready to go public yet, but
yeah, I don't know what next year brings. So I've basically been relegated. Not to harp on my physio story, but so I'm pretty much short runs on a treadmill from now until March. This is pretty much what we're going to try to do. 10 to 15 kilometers a week tops, with maybe increasing it 10 to 15% per week at the most, and see how that does. But I've been cleared to bike as much as I want to, so because it's a non-impact. So all of my long efforts this winter to try to keep my cardiovascular system in check will be on a trainer. And so Cody Cooper is getting one ready for me, and I'm going to pick it up next Thursday at Bikeworks, and I'm going to have a new kicker core. So anyone who's on Zwift and wants to connect on there, I'll probably be part of Zwift by the end of November. And so I'm going to try this winter to really rehab this Achilles and see if I can get it not hurting and like basically in a debilitating pain sort of way, which is basically what it is whenever I run longer than 8-9 kilometers. And so that's the goal for this winter, is just to find ways to do that and get that better. And then sky's the limit once we get back to healthy status. And so
that's right.
The first goal, like I mentioned earlier, I would like to run Rockwood and finish in both time caps and actually get a finish time for it. So when I talked to Will today, my physiotherapist, he felt like that was completely reasonable and that he could help me get there. So that's, if you're listening, Will, I'm holding you to that. We're gonna get that done. So that's the goal. And then late season, we've been talking about going and doing a big race down in the States, maybe Ghost Train or something along those lines. So we'll see if that happens when the registration opens later this month. And I might register, but I'm not going to confirm anything. And then we'll see how that goes through the summer training. And there's always that elusive buckle. We've talked about it before, but that's where we're going someday, buddy.
I know.
That's the goal.
I know. So yeah, so those are great. I'm with you on Rockwood. I think the 50 is kind of like the elusive white whale that I'm still trying to chase. I hate it so much. I just want to beat it, just not out of accomplishment, but out of spite now.
Yeah, I'm definitely running it out of spite.
Freaking running
Get me
angry.
wrong,
That's what I'll
yeah.
be doing. I'll just be running angry the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
Do you see that? It's like that Instagram where it's like the guy's like talking to the hill. He's like, F you, you hill. You know, he's just like talking to him. It's like, you unflat piece of crap. Like he's just like swearing at the hill the whole time he's going up.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's how I feel about Rockwood every time I walk in there. I'm like, all right, freaking anyway. So that's kind of how I've got that on my plate. Honestly, for this winter, I think it's really just about like my weight. I gotta get my weight down if I want to continue to do Rockwood. Like I just feel like I'm too slow. So trying to work on that speed and weight. And if I had $1 for every time I said that, I'd probably be able to
Be rich.
afford my own personal chef to make sure my nutrition is good. But
Yeah.
it seems like it doesn't get any easier the older you get. So I just gotta get into it. Yeah, and so evaluate it from there. So that's kind of where I'm at over the winter season, and obviously get ready for the spring. So Rockwood always sneaks up on you though, doesn't it? Like you're just friggin' winter time, and then all of a sudden, bam, you got to get ready for this brutal race.
March hits, and you got 3 months to get her going. So
yeah. Jeff, we didn't have this scripted, but is there anyone you want to say thank you to? Any shout outs you want to give as we finish up our season here today?
Oh, geez. I mean, we had so many cool guests on the show that were just good people that just were willing to come on and chat with us and have good talks. All the people that encouraged us, I mean, there was tons of them, so you try not to name them because you'll miss people, but, Adam and Ann have been great this year. They've always reached out and helped us. They've come to every race we wanted to go to and helped us and encouraged us. Adam, some of it's encouragement, some of it's frustration right now. He's still a little salty with me, but he'll get over it. And like Kelsey and Adam, like they came over after East Coast Beast Coast and encouraged the girls and chatted with them, and like that was cool. Cody Cooper just being a nice dude and be willing to hang out and chat after he's been done running for 40 minutes when we finally come across the line, wherever it is we race with him. And so, like there's just so many people in the community that are awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I do too want to just thank, like our sponsors, like, Mark, just appreciate all that he's done for us, just promoting the podcast with the races and that sort of thing. It's just been fantastic. And obviously Devin, who came and ran Rockwood with us, which was fantastic to be able to spend that time with him, slept down in the tent on top of his truck and everything. And honestly, like
I almost forgot about that. It was
right
like,
in the middle of a freaking like windstorm. Like you remember how windy it was and rainy it was, and he still did that.
What a
and
dude.
so he's just been awesome.
Back in Rockwood again. That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
So just resilience through fitness, like awesome things are happening with that. I think it's turning a corner now so that it's going to become like a full-time deal for Devin. And that's pretty awesome, but it's also like a big challenge. And also just shout out, if you want to grab some gear, we have like a code. I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's like Chasing Trails 10 or something like that. We'll have
10
to
or 15.
Chasing
Trails
10
or Chasing Trails 15. Yeah, we're bad at this. Yeah.
We're really bad. We also have one with Nutritology as well. That's the Chasing Trails Pod 10. I remember that one because I got to get some more creatine. So it is there if you want to grab a discount off of that. But yeah, so just a big shout out to them. We couldn't do it without their support. Also to our families, like you can hear like babies crying in the background for Jeff
Did
right
you hear
now.
that? I tried to mute my mic when I heard her going. I was like, I can't hear the baby, but
I don't know if your wife listens to the podcast. Mine doesn't. So she doesn't really know when we say these things, but we can do what we do without them. So big shout out to them.
I think Heidi's scared I'm going to say something to get myself in trouble. So she just stays away from it. Yeah.
Better put the mute on. And also just some of the folks who are in the community who are just so generous with their time, willing to share stories, willing to just kind of commiserate with you, celebrate with you. Like, even just some of the folks at River and Trail who will just lend their expertise, like buying which goos to get or whatever it is. Like there's just so much just love for all of you guys. And so big thank you to our listeners. It's our biggest year ever. Jeff, who would have thought when we started this thing, we would just be happy if 10 people that weren't our family listened to this. And here we are, over 100 episodes later, year 3, and just having a blast doing it. I still can't believe you listen. So thank you to all the listeners, and you're
We can say
fantastic.
hundreds of listeners instead of tens of listeners, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so
Instead of the dozens and dozens, we're at like hundreds now, right?
hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm
We
sure,
just broke,
Lee Murphy's video and podcast is going to get hundreds of listens because he's still
Yeah.
got still owns the title. So
That's right. So we're on Spotify, we're now at 201 followers. So it's about half and half with Apple and Spotify. So I don't know how many followers we have on Apple. I haven't checked lately, but I just saw the other day that we're at 201. So if you haven't clicked follow, we appreciate it if you would follow us, spread the word. We're trying to do our best. And so hopefully next year will be bigger and better, but keep your eyes open for Christmas because we'll be cracking some Skunkle mics and enjoying some fantastic Christmas content. I love the Christmas episode. It's one of my favorites. So we'll get that out there soon. But in the meantime, everyone, thanks for listening. Here's to a great trail series and to a great running season. And in the meantime, everyone, keep on chasing the trails.